Hello and a very warm welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're continuing our journey of being able to go through and figure out QuickBooks 101. And in this one, we're going to be talking about one of the most important aspects of doing any business, which is being paid. So if we're going to be figuring out how to be paid, we need to be figuring out money in for QuickBooks Online. So strap up, let's have a look. Let's go straight into it and let's figure out exactly how money in works in QuickBooks Online. Roll the VT. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I'm a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning with Ask the Accountant. Now in today's video, we're going to be looking straight at the world of money in, which is basically how you're going to record income going forward. Let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it and let's figure out exactly how this works. Well, for me, the best place to start with money in is using the new functionality button at the top left-hand corner. From new, you can click on the button there, and then you're going to continue down the customers area just here. Now, there's a lot of information here, so let's go line by line. The first one is invoice. Now, invoice is dead straightforward. For businesses who are looking to send an invoice out that they're going to get paid for a later time, this is perfect for you. So from here you can choose a customer, either one of your existing customers, or let's just create a new customer from scratch. So I'm going to call him Bob. Now you can put as much information as you want, first name, last name, you can put all this information in. Realistically though, at this area, you want to be putting as much information on there that's going to be able to be on that invoice. So you want to be putting the billing address. You're going to maybe want to put some notes there to help you. It's all about making sure that you can use this information for your best ability. And I would highly, highly always recommend putting an email in. So I'm going to do test@test.com. Now from here I press save. Now it will remember the billing address and information you put through. You then get to choose the date itself. Now you can either use a little calendar button or you can type the date in, whichever works for you. And it will generate a due date based on the terms. You can change the invoice date if you've got the options open by just going in and change it. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 for my invoice date, invoice number. Now top up here you can have payment options built directly into QuickBooks, so you can make your life easier by accepting card payments via PayPal. But what really powerful is when the invoice is sent to a client, they press one button, press pay now, and they can deliver the money directly to you. It's brilliant. Or you can set up a direct debit so that you can use Go Cardless, which is a direct debit solution. It means you send that invoice out, and once it's all set up, it means the money is then going to be collected automatically without you worrying about it and deposited straight to your bank account. We love that feature. All right, everything else here, we're not going to talk about now, but that is stuff for a more advanced video. And if you want that video, press the like button and we can talk about custom forming numbers, tracking numbers, location, class, and all that sort of stuff, but only if you use that comment button below. Now, first and foremost, product and service. This is what you've sold, and you can see here I've got loads of pre-made products and services. And what makes it easy means that I can then go and say that I want this Pokemon Japanese card here for Blastoise, and I could have already set what the price point was going to be, and the VAT number and everything else that goes with it. They can all be preset. Now, for you to create your own, well, it's really straightforward. You just start typing in what you want to sell. So I'm going to go start selling an apple. Now for me to start selling an apple, I type the word in and then I choose which one I want to do and say add new product service. I choose what it's going to be. Now to keep things simple, we're just going to choose a service, but you have more advanced solutions if you go up a bit higher, which includes stock, non-stock and bundle. Service though, really straightforward. All I need to really worry about are my defaults. Where the income count's going to be. Do I want it just a sales or do I want it on its own separate item? That can be changed there. What's the default figure going to be? So let's say £250, and then what the VAT code's going to be as well. Save and close. Now from here I can change any of this information. I can put in maybe the different quantity. I can move it all around. I can go and add lines, clear lines, add subtotals. And because I'm using the settings button at the top here, and I've turned on things like some complicated things like I've got in here regarding things like sales items and shipping and all that lot, I can change that there. Ultimately though, what I need to do now is send it over to the client. From the send functionality down the bottom here, I can either save and close, or I can save and send, or I can save and new. Save and close takes me back to where it was. Save and new would save it and give me a brand new one if I've got multiple ones to do. Save and send, though, gives me an opportunity to press send. I can customize this to my heart's content, press send, and that's now gone over to that client. And the idea then is that now that client will have the opportunity to pay us. Now, when they do pay us, I can either wait for it to hit my bank account and match it, because that transaction is now live in QuickBooks, and when I've hit the money's come in, I can match it there. Or I can use my next item down, which is receive payment. So I've sent my invoice, I can now receive payment. Receive payment, basically, if I say Bob paid me back, I can say Bob, I can tick what it is, say how much he's paid and maybe change it. So actually maybe he's only paid £500 at this point. But crucially, I just need to say what the date is and where it's paying into. Is petty cash? Is it NatWest Bank? Is it any of these other bank accounts I've got in this account here? I could change all these through, say business bank account, press save and close, and that will mark it as done. And we'll see in a moment how that works when we go to our customer area. The new option next is estimate. Now, estimate is when we're not 100% sure or we're trying to entice a client. So let's go back to Bob and let's say to Bob that we want to go and send an estimate this time that we're going to want to sell you Mickey Mouse, and we've got 1,000 of these to sell at £25 each for a whopping £25,000, and hopefully get the VAT right as well. The whole point of an estimate is that when I save it or save and send it to the client, I now have an option that I can wait and see if they've accepted it. So in the top right hand corner or left hand corner, I can say accepted, pending, closed, rejected. And over here, I can go and maybe create an invoice based on this particular one. Either way, it gives me a control where I can send an estimate out, see if the client likes it or doesn't like it, and then I can act for it going forward. Next new one is credit note. Now, credit note is basically the same as invoice, but in reverse. So basically, we're saying here that actually Bob didn't want all of the stuff we've sent to them. Not a problem. I can select either a different bad debt or, well, he's only paid me 500, he still owed me another bit of money left. Well, what I can do is maybe do a bad debt. Maybe do it inclusive of VAT, which means it's going to work the VAT backwards for me, not add it on top. And maybe say that we are writing off £200 of it as a bad debt with the VAT being worked backwards. Press save and close, and we've agreed that with the client. That's what a credit note is for. New button, we've also got refund receipt just here. What about if we need to send some money back over to Bob? Dead straightforward. We can say, Bob, here's a refund receipt. Let's say that we want to refund him against some of the piglet face ones. It's £10. We want to refund it you. Press save and close. That means that when that refund comes in, so the expense in this case, right, comes in, it's automatically going to be accounted for you just to make your life easier. Next one, though, is delayed credit and delayed charge. Now, pretty much the same. So delayed credit, if I click into here, means that I'm going to say Bob, and I'm going to say there's a credit in there, and I'm going to delay it for now against the Japanese postage. I'm going to say it's £100. I'm going to see how that affects us in a moment. And then there's delayed charge. Now, delayed charge is, well, we've done something for them, but we want to include it in an invoice later. Not a problem. Well, I go in here and I say, actually, I've already just done an iPhone repair for you. I want to make sure that I don't forget to do that iPhone repair and charge for it. So in this case, it was £100. And next time I invoice you, I don't want to forget about it. I don't want to miss the fact I've done that iPhone repair. And the idea then is it's on file, ready for next time I invoice, and make sure I don't forget. And finally, in the new section, add customer. That's how we've already seen it. Instead of having to do it from there, I could go in, add the customer, put Bob's information in and go through from there. Now let's go to Bob and see what's happened here. So in the world of Bob, we have, the very first thing we did was send an invoice for £780. We then took a payment of £500, and you'll see now that the invoice is partially paid. If I go back into the invoice, I can see that it was undelivered because the email was incorrect. Well, that's fine. But I can see as well at the moment we've got a partial payment. If I go and edit the invoice, top right hand corner, you can see that I've got a partial, still got a balance of £280 left. I've got that estimate out there, 25 grand. Well, we can decide if he wants to update the status, or I could mark it accepted, debt ultimately I can convert this into an invoice if I want to. Then I've got my credit note, £200, at the moment unapplied, but I can actually apply it against here. All I'm going to do is do receive payment. If I do receive payment, I can say that actually I've got a credit note there of £200. That's how much I've received, meaning that now if I go back to that invoice and I just look into it, I actually have a balance now of £80 left over to me because I've applied that credit note against it. Then we've got the refund that we allocated against him. So when I pay that £10 to the client, we can easily accept that on the bank account and match it accordingly, keeping things nice and clean. And then I've got my credit here, which basically means, and my charge here, credit and my charge just sat there waiting to be utilised. And what that means now, that if I press the new button and press invoice, right hand corner, I now have a new area popped up. I have the opportunity to bring in my estimate that we've created for them. So maybe he's now agreed on it. So that's that 25k coming in. Now, when I look to bring it in, I do have the option, do I want it all of it or some of it? I'm actually only going to do 10% of it now and copy to invoice. And then I can come back and do maybe another 10% later, or the full 90. I can bring that in at a different time. And I also got these charged. So there's that iPhone repair that we talked about. Let's bring that in. And then here's that £100 credit that I had there waiting to be brought in. And basically, the idea of using the linked items here is that all of these delayed charges and delayed credits and these estimates create what's called a linked invoice. And the idea there is I can see the audit trail of how all this was put together. At any point I can go in and sort it. So I can save that at any point. I've created a brand new invoice. I can wait for that to be paid. And the only other thing we haven't talked about is then sales receipt. And all the sales receipt is everything we've just learned. So all that information can all apply to a sales receipt. Key difference is a sales receipt is something you've already received. So I'm going to go in, and this time round I'm going to say that I've got some design costs for this particular person. They've already paid me £250. I can use that fancy inclusive versus exclusive, and that means it's going to automatically record the VAT for me on what £250 is. All I need to do is be really careful of where the money's gone to. Let's say that he's actually given me in cash. I've already recorded it. It's against Bob still. So at that point then, a sales receipt is everything we learned, but instead of having to mark it as paid later, we already have received the money. Therefore, we just put it in as the paid figure as appropriate, just like that. What else have we got in the money in area? Well, products and services, that's where we can go and look at all of our stock items, make sure in the service items and make any additions to it. So we can go in and change maybe this default cost for it and everything else and where it's been posted to. Customers is where you can see a default your customers, including how much people may owe you and what estimates are out there, and how much overdue invoice is going to be. Invoice area where you can allocate your invoices and look at them. All sales see every transaction from a sales point of view that's available to you. And finally, your overview page, which I like to see as a bit of a to-do list. Have you got everything set up? Are you got it set up so you can accept online card payments and accept direct debits? Have you got it set up that you have all of the information in place? Overview page gives you all of that there, and then gives you an opportunity to come back on a regular basis to see how you're doing in your world of money in. And that's it. That is money in a nutshell. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is there anything else in the money in section that you need to know more about? Now, most of the time, money in is designed for people who are sending invoices out or are trying to look at being able to record those sales receipts at a core level. But the other way of doing money in is by using commercial platforms and using the opportunity to use things like eBay or your website and stuff like that. Now, we're going to be covering that in a future series. So if you want to be listening to that in more detail, then don't forget to use the subscribe button on this channel. Make sure you give this video a like. Can put a comment below if there's anything else you would like to see in this particular series, because we're going to be tackling QuickBooks 101 on a regular basis. So my name has been Aaron Patrick. As always, this video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Play
Hello and welcome to this new series. Hello and welcome to this video. 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 Right, let's get it set. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, I'm aware we go live every Monday.
The next generation is about everyone else that missed it.
Yeah. So current. All right, you've told us what you love about the industry, but what would you change about the industry?
Where do I start?
During that period of time, where did everyone turn to? Their accountant, right? Their advisor, the bookkeeper. And you all did phenomenal work for small business.